A blessed Monday to everyone. Kamusta na po kayo? Ngayon po ay ating DOTD. At ang pamagat po ng ating DOTD sa araw na ito ay, Is Your Light Shining? There is a familiar hymn the children sing in the preschool. Ito po ay naipakanta ko na din yata nung ako po ay natuturo ng preschool. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Alam na alam po ito ng mga bata. This song speaks of shining God's light, the light that's reflected in us into the dark crevices of the world around us. It's about building God's kingdom and using your seemingly little gifts to transform the world. Basahin po natin ang Matthew chapter 5 verse 14 to 16. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. In the New Testament, light is associated with the titles for Jesus. He is called the light of the world. He is to be the light to the Gentiles. So when Jesus says, you are the light of the world, let your light so shine before others that they may see your good works. He is not saying, go out and be the light of the world. He uses present tense. You are the light of the world. It's as though he's saying, like it or not, you already are light. God has placed within you a fire. That fire can be a beacon for others, pointing the way to God. With this in mind, how is your light shining? More important, where is your light shining? Is it shining in the world, in your home, at school, or in your workplace? You may say, yes, my light is shining because I attended the Sunday worship service. You probably feel like your light is shining since you chose to sacrifice a couple of hours of sleep this morning or postpone going to the mall to come and worship. So you may be thinking, yes, my light is shining this morning. We like to think we are good and reasonably faithful people. We show up for worship on Sundays, katulad po kahapon ay linggo, tayo po ay may Sunday worship service. Say our prayers and practice our acts of piety and devotion. But then what? When we leave here at the conclusion of the service and go back to our lives that preoccupy most of our time, are we any different than we were before the worship experience? Were we transformed by our time with God in the service? Or were we simply going through the motions? Was the service a redemptive experience or simply a way to make us think we are more pious than those who decided to sleep in or stay in the house? You may say, but I come to church, I say my prayers, give my tithes and offering, and attend church activities, but isn't that enough? Those are certainly good things, but are not enough if you are not somehow changed by the experience. Corporate worship is a place to get spiritually fed so we can shine our lights in the world. The bottom line is that worship isn't enough. God doesn't reward our acts of devotion. God expects genuine transformation that is translated in how we live our lives the rest of the week from Sunday to Saturday. He wants our lights to shine. When we leave church, He wants them to shine so brightly that others may see your good works, your love, mercy, your kindness, and compassion, and in the process, see God in you. The people of Jerusalem during the time of Isaiah were forced to consider the same question. The big disillusionment for the chosen people of Jerusalem was that God was not who and where they thought who He is. They thought God was supposed to be with them when they prayed and fasted and studied their scriptures. They thought nothing pleased God more than to find them on their knees, dressed in sackcloth and covered with ashes. But they were wrong. But God was not at their prayer desk with them. God was out in the streets, warming His hands over an open fire with some homeless folks, delivering food to the hungry, and handing out blankets to those who had trouble staying warm. God was with the sick. He was with the poor. Isaiah told the people in Jerusalem and is telling us that if our worship affects our lives in a positive way, then our acts of devotion are sincere and pleasing to God. Dapat po, yung worship natin, there is an outcome that we are sincere and that we do things pleasing to God. We'll know it if they are pleasing to God, if our lights are shining. Let your worship experience with God be a genuine encounter with the Lord Himself. Actively yield yourself to God's will and be the person God wants you to be. If you do, your light will shine. If you are transformed and spiritually renewed, it will be evident to everyone. Your light will shine so brightly that others will see your good works. This, I can assure you, is pleasing to God. So, church, let your light shine. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ANJC's YouTube channel to be more updated. Kindly like our Facebook page. Maraming salamat po. Have a good and blessed week ahead.